Alright, this morning I'm getting ready to can squash pickles. I'm doing dills right now. I'm waiting for more mix to come to boil on the stove. But today I'm going to make pickled squash pickles. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get these sliced up. I've got to get the bad spots off of them and get them sliced up, and then slice up onions. Now I'm going to put them in a bowl and cover them with salt and let them sit there for an hour, and then you drain it off, and then I'm going to make the brine that goes with it, and then we'll get them canned up. So I'm going to get set up to get these all sliced. Okay, I got all the squash cut up in slices. I just used my handy dandy slicer, and then I took some onions that I had. These are our homegrown. Sliced them up and chop them up and put them in there. Put a little bit of water in it just so I can keep them moist. And then I sprinkled sea salt over them. Salt to taste. Anyway, I stirred it up good. You're supposed to let this set in the bowl for about an hour. And then you'll want to drain them really well. Then after you drain them, we'll get them put in jars. And while these are soaking, I'm going to get the brine going. And I've got my pickles rolling right here. I'm going to get 6 more pints of dill slices. So that's good because we're going to be short this year, I have a feeling. I like to can 70 to 80 pints because my husband takes them every day in his lunch, plus we eat them here. So any day to get pickles is a good day. So I'm going to let these soak, get the brine done, and we'll get them put together. Okay, this is a very simple brine. You take 3 cups of sugar and 2 cups of white vinegar. Thank you, Jesus. And mustard seed. So we need 2 teaspoons of that. And all I'm going to do is get this to a boil and then just let it simmer until I'm ready to pour it over my squash and onions in my jars. And these will can like you would for pickles. They'll be 10 minutes for pints. So I'm going to get this boiling. Shouldn't take too long. I just need the sugar to be good and dissolved. It's a very easy mix. Okay, I misread the recipe. It's been a couple years since I've made these. I've not had enough squash, but thanks to that co-worker of my husband's, and he's also a subscriber, he gave us yellow squash. So I'm able to get around the squash pickles on the shelf. You just let this hit boil so the sugar gets good and dissolved. Now I've drained the veggies and the squash and the onions, and all you do is put it in that juice. Give it a good mix. Now this recipe was not in the canning books. This is from a friend of mine, and I loved her squash pickles, so I asked for the recipe. And this is how she makes it. So how I'm making it because I want them to taste just like hers. Let me see on her recipe. Okay, it says to get it back to boil and then we can jar them up. So I'm going to put them back on the stove, let it hit boil again, and then we'll be ready to put them in jars. Okay, it is ready to dip up. So I'm going to get them put in jars. I did add like a teaspoon of salt to this brine, just to kind of level out all the sweetness. Let's see here. Ooh. This is really sticky. So I'm going to get my paper towel wet here. Now, one thing I'm going to do with these is I'm going to add this calcium, this extra crunch that I always put in my pickles. So it's going to be 1/8 of a teaspoon to help it stay crunchier, not get as soggy. I think that has to be there. Okay. First jar, ready to go in the canner. Excited to get these back on the shelf again. I'm the only one likes them, my husband don't, but I'm going to be making his favorite side condiment or whatever you want to call them. I'm not real fancy on the words, but he likes spicy pickled cauliflower. I don't care for that, so when I get this out for when we're eating, oops, he will eat his cauliflower and I will eat the squash. I'm making the spicy cauliflower probably beginning of next week. Looks pretty in the jar too. I don't know how many of these I'm going to get. I just got out some jars. Figured I'll need them out for something anyway. I'm probably leaving an inch headspace. That again, this stuff's sticky. I don't want there to be a bad seal. Last year I took what yellow squash I had and then I froze them. I battered them, flash froze them, and I've still actually got some in the freezer. So I knew I wasn't going to need that this year. I forgot the calcium on the last one. Oh well, I'm not taking it back out. There. I think I'm going to get a 1/2 pint jar and not a pint jar out of the rest of it. I'm I'm gonna go get me a half-pint jar and get it filled. Okay, got my little half-pint jar here. That's gonna be about right. Too full. And this will be a half of an eighth, so it's just going to be a little bit. Doesn't take much. All right, we're gonna put it in a water bath canner, and once it hits boil, it'll boil for 10 minutes, and then we'll have squash pickles ready for the shelf. I'm making more of that peanut butter mousse frozen treat. We absolutely love these. Healthier version to trying to buy the ice cream in the store. These don't last too long in the house. This will be a dessert. It's a light dessert, but it does satisfy the sweet craving that you get. This is probably one of our favorite frozen treats. So we'll get these put in the freezer. Too many. So, yep, it made 9 this time. I filled them a little fuller. But yep, we'll put them in the freezer, and then we'll be dessert for this evening, hopefully. So that's the pickles that I'm going to get done for the day. I got 4.5 pints of squash pickles and 6 pints of dill pickle slices. And I'm not sure I'm going to get anything else preserved today. But I'll be right back at it in the morning with something different. I've still got so many tomatoes. Sorry, there's stuff everywhere as far as canning. Got so many tomatoes that I'm waiting for them to get a little riper, and then I can do something with them. Sauce or tomato juice or something. And I've still got to work through all the potatoes, so I might try freezing some French fries tomorrow if something that has to be processed don't come up. Right now the potatoes is on hold because I know that they'll be fine waiting while I get all the fresh stuff done. So until tomorrow, this is Shelly from Hodgepodge Hoosiers. Bye for now.